Joining me now, Alexi McCammond, MSNBC political analyst and host of the podcast In Sync with Alexi, and Juanita Tolliver, MSNBC political analyst and author of the book, A More Perfect Party, The Night Shirley Chisholm and Diane Carroll Reshaped Politics. So, ladies, welcome to you both. Alexi, you first. Hegseth denies any wrongdoing, but do you agree? I'm curious the message that the Trump transition team is sending to women in the military and to women in general.
Yeah, it's an important topic. And as you've mentioned, Hegseth has been clear that he just fundamentally doesn't believe women should serve in combat roles. It is not sending a signal to women in military or in uniform in any respect that they are respected by the people Donald Trump is choosing to surround himself with when he takes office next year. And I think it just adds to the larger kind of problematic trend that we've seen outside of Pete Hegseth with several other people that have been chosen for Trump's cabinet or withdrawn now who have similar allegations. So it's important to note that it's not just him, you know?
Yeah. And Juanita, here is what former Joint Chiefs Chair Mark Milley told my colleague Stephanie Ruhle this week. Let's watch that.
Don't lecture me about women in combat. Women have been in combat, and it doesn't matter if that 7.62 hits you in the chest. No one gives a shit. If it's a woman or a guy who pulled that trigger, you're still dead. It doesn't matter if you're white, if you're black, if you're a man, if you're a woman, if you're a Catholic, if you're a Protestant. None of those identification things matter. What matters are standards, readiness standards.
Look, Hegseth has also spoken out against diversity in the military. How do you see the Defense Department changing if Hegseth wins Senate confirmation?
I think that's a great question because I don't think people understand the massive amount of service members who will be under his control and purview and policy as the head of the Department of Defense. And as the daughter of veterans, my mother is also a Navy veteran, this is something that they're not going to stand for. So I'm going to be looking to those service members and how this is going to be pushing back. But hearing that clip from Milley is yet another reminder of why Donald Trump is staying away from established military leaders. They're the ones who identified him as a threat to the future. They're the ones who are calling out his cabinet members. And he knew that going back into the Oval Office, he wanted people who would only do what he explicitly wants them to do. And tearing down women, speaking negatively about their competency and their ability to and preparedness, as the General Milley put it, is part of that job. Remember, Donald Trump's key component in selecting Hegseth for this position wasn't his military service, and it clearly has nothing to do with his morality, but it's how he presents on television and being able to sell a message. And so I think that's going to be something that we hear more about if he makes it through the confirmation process with these sexual assault allegations out in front of him, because Donald Trump likes people who look good and spread the message that he wants spread. Nothing else.
Listen, I'm just going to say it again. Allegations, yes, but he was never charged for them. I think it's important that we remain clear on that. But Alexi, the transition is increasingly looking to Project 2025 to staff up the incoming administration. Several of the latest picks, they have direct ties to Project 2025, in spite of Trump distancing himself, saying he didn't know what it was about during the campaign. I'm curious your interpretation, and could this all be theoretical, as some Republicans say? I mean, not even to be specifically applied.
No, I mean, it's remarkable because I feel like at least some voters might feel betrayed by this. As you mentioned, Donald Trump straight up said on the campaign trail many times, like, I have no idea what Project 2025 is. I have nothing to do with that. That is not my campaign. And so he created a healthy amount of distance between himself and his campaign and Project 2025, even though folks had known the ties that existed already between the personnel and the policy and ideology behind the things that they laid out was obviously informed by Donald Trump and his Republican brand of politics. Now he is just continuing to, I think Mike and Jim at Axios put it this way, give people the middle finger in choosing folks that are controversial picks or that go directly against what he said time and again on the trail, because he will do what he wants at the end of the day. And if there's something we all know well, especially after winning the presidency again and facing federal criminal charges and more allegations of assault from different women, among many other things, Trump only feels more emboldened to do whatever he wants to do. And it's worth noting Russ Vought, who you put on the screen, has already said we're living in a post-constitutional society. So that's kind of alarming.
Hey, you know, speaking of winning, Juanita, the transition is taking aim at the news reports pointing out Trump did not win by a landslide, as he repeatedly claims. In fact, as of today, he won the popular vote by 1.6%. Trump's incoming White House press secretary claims the media is trying to delegitimize what she calls Trump's mandate. Why make this landslide claim? Why even go there?
Because it makes Trump feel better, right? Remember, this is all about his ego. And so to be able to spread misinformation and try to counteract explicit data in the vote counts, it's something that he's deploying his communications team to do because his feelings are hurt by the fact that it was not a landslide. If anything, winning by 1.6 percentage points means that you barely were able to break through in this incredibly divided country. And he doesn't like that narrative. That's not the strong a narrative of strength that he wants to go into, which he is going to try to leverage as he perpetuates the themes included in Project 2025. And so I think that's why they're out there trying to counteract the truth, because it's setting Donald Trump yet again for this platform where he thinks he can operate with a mandate. He thinks he can operate with impunity. He thinks he can operate with majority of support for the country, when the reality is he did not earn majority of support from this country. He did not break 50% support.
That's right.